Right from the top, I debated long and hard about whether or not to include AZRAEL in my Best in Horror countdown for 2023-2024. While technically the film did come out in select theaters on September 27th, I figured most of my readers didn't live in major cities and therefore wouldn't be able to watch the film, and if the film isn't readily available to the masses, I felt it would be better to leave the film on to next year's list. And it most certainly will be on that list next year, I guarantee that. AZRAEL is new streaming on Shudder from IFC Films. It's directed by Katz and written by Simon Barrett. From the director of Cheap Thrills and the writer of You're Next and The Guest comes AZRAEL, a story set in a post-apocalyptic future after the biblical rapture. Those left behind seem to have either become religious zealots or barbaric nomads, living simply in a commune in the middle of the woods that is also populated by wandering demons. The group has taken a vow of silence, and its women are all pregnant, hoping to bear the new Antichrist. One woman, played by Samara weaving, escapes the community and must evade capture from the zealots and the demons alike. That's one hell of a synopsis, and AZRAEL is one hell of a movie. Much is supposed to be taken for granted upon going into this one, mainly that the biblical rapture actually happened. While this is explained in the opening, I think it would have done this movie a favor if we saw how the rapture went down. I get it. That kind of worldwide phenomena would be expensive to show, but I think the filmmakers would have done the audience a favor to show their version of it in some way. They represent a prophecy of a woman caring for a demonic child as a chalk drawing on the wall of the church, so an artistic rendering of this biblical event would have been possible, cheap to make, and a unique way to bring the viewers up to date. Instead, it's described in a written-out preamble at the beginning. That's a minor gripe about a relatively awesome movie, as that really is just set up to a movie-long cat-and-mouse chase sequence. With everyone vowing silence, there's no exposition to be doled out, and other than a Frenchman who is quickly offed, there's hardly any dialogue at all in AZRAEL. This makes it a more raw and rugged film, relying on action rather than words. Katz was responsible for the dialogue-heavy Cheap Thrills, so seeing him direct a balls-out action horror film with no dialogue shows the filmmaker's creative range, and while one might think a screenplay without dialogue would be an easy feat, Your Next writer Simon Barrett keeps this interesting with twists, turns, and all sorts of obstacles in Weaving's path to make this story an unpredictable one. Weaving, as usual, is breathtaking, even covered in mud and soot. Since there is no dialogue, it would be hard for most to really get you to empathize for the character. But because of her giant blue eyes, she expresses a myriad of emotions through blinks, squints, and wide-eyed expressions of terror. She's put through a gauntlet of horrors, and it's refreshing to see an actress of Weaving's caliber return to the horror genre over and over again. While the ending is kind of predictable, the trip there isn't. Anyone who has seen films whose plot hinges on a prophecy knows it's going to come about one way or another in the end, and this one, of course, does just that. But it's the unique peril Weaving is placed into, and the especially gnarly demons, all soot-covered, staggering, and tumorous, that really makes you root for Weaving to get out of this alive. AZRAEL may have had a bare-bones script with no dialogue, but in the end, it used this factor as a benefit to make a grungy, down-in-the-muck survival nightmare. I highly recommend this one. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that reality.